Hi everybody. I leave the internet for one day and when I come back all hell has broken loose. I'm sure most of you know by now that several comic book pros conspired to dox diversity in comics yesterday. On Facebook, Mark Waid posted this statement, telling people DNC's real name, that he's going to the Baltimore Comic-Con, and for reasons I'm still trying to figure out, told people to come and find him if they spotted DNC. I don't know what Mark Waid thinks he's going to do, but there you go. Not to be outdone, on the super secret Legion of Doom Facebook group, pros revealed DNC's name again, and writer B. Claymore said this: "The last thing that Meyer, DNC, is going to do is get violent at a con, but I'd love to follow him around trying to goad him into throwing a punch." First of all, let's give special thanks to writer John Della Rose for his Periscope video revealing this. I'll link to it below. He's been targeted for harassment for years because he's conservative, and in the science fiction publishing community, that's bad. Never mind that he's Hispanic, and the left's supposed to like Hispanics. He's the wrong kind of Hispanic, because he doesn't agree with their politics. Second of all, B. Claymore threatened violence against DNC over YouTube videos. Read the comment chain he's on. These people complain about targeted harassment and threats, and here you have them conspiring to engage in targeted harassment and violence against somebody. These are the same people who talk about punching Nazis and harassing Trump supporters, so it's not a surprise to see them calling for this. This is exactly what happened with Gamergate. This is the same kind of thing. They project onto others what they actually want to do to the opposition, and then they fearmonger their own crowd to make it worse. You've got this Taylor Esposito, who's apparently a letterer at DC Comics, saying that it's not diversity in comics he fears, but, quote, the nutjobs who follow him and might take his words as a call to action. What are you talking about? Nobody's attacked anyone. Nobody's called for violence against anyone. All anyone did was roast your comics. That's it. They pointed out how bad the books are and how bad the creators behave online. Let me give you an example. Marvel writer Dan Slott pretended to be someone for weeks, making everybody think the guy was actually Slott, and then getting them to harass him. Dan Slott freely posted this on Comic Book Resources forums, damn near bragging about what he did. And it doesn't stop there. Several people have been blocked by Dan Slott, only to have him stalk their feeds. When he sees something he wants to comment on, he unblocks them, comments, waits for a while until he's sure they saw it, and then blocks them again. When anyone brings up this stuff, the pros have nothing to say. B. Claymore doubled down on his comments, trying to say that he wasn't calling for violence. Dude, we can read. We see it there in black and white. You were totally calling for violence. This is exactly what happened in Gamergate. When people started listening to gamers and saw that their claims about the gaming press were true, the gaming journalists and feminists went to the media and trashed gamers. When that didn't work, they targeted folks like Internet Aristocrat, Sargon of Akkad, and Mundane Matt. They even went after Milo Yiannopoulos, even though in his original article about Gamergate, he was mocking gamers. They go after the big voices to try to silence the rest because too many normal people are listening. That's why they targeted diversity in comics, because he's effective. If it wasn't him, then it would have been Captain Cummings. If it wasn't him, it'd have been Douglas Ernst. Well, technically it's already been him, just watch his videos. The pros are doing this because the videos and critiques hit way too close to home. The numbers don't lie. The industry is making record profits thanks to price hikes, but selling fewer and fewer books. IDW just reported a 90% loss over the last year, in part because of the antics of Marvel and DC. The Marvel books in particular are failing, with most of their diversity books bombing within the first 3 months of their release. Even previous top sellers like Ms. Marvel are barely above the cancellation line. That's not YouTubers' fault. That's Marvel's fault for putting out books that fail to find an audience or keep an audience. Then you look at how the creators behave online, and what you see is open bigotry. You go to these folks' Twitter feeds and Facebook pages, and all you see is anti-Trump this, punch Nazis that, resist this, ban that, and so on. John Della Rose went through 30 different creators' Twitter feeds and found nothing but this type of stuff. It's bitterness and hate and vitriol. Pure autofilating masturbatory ego fest. These people have zero grounding in reality. And as they're complaining about so-called targeted harassment, they're posting pictures of suspected white supremacists, telling people to track them down and get these folks arrested and fired. They're doxing people. They're going after anybody, famous or not, who says the wrong thing and spamming their social media feeds with the same type of comments and criticism they call harassment when it's directed at them. You ask these folks, and according to them, Aubrey Sitterson didn't do nothing wrong by talking trash about people mourning 9/11. But diversity in comics is the worst of the worst for calling people childless weirdos and dissing their work. I'm not saying everything that comes out of everybody's mouth is kosher, but it doesn't rise to the point of harassing and threatening someone because they don't like some of your work. You don't get to do that. When people act like Mark Waid and B. Claymore and call for harassment and violence against someone, report them. I'm not talking about to Twitter and Facebook. I'm talking about to the places they care about, like conventions. With that in mind, I created this petition to have Mark Waid removed from the Baltimore Comic-Con. The link is in the description below. I've also included a screen cap of his Facebook post on that petition. I encourage people to sign the petition and to email any and every convention Mark Waid attends. The same goes for B. Claymore. I've got screen caps of his comments below. His next convention is the Little Apple Comic Expo. Write them up and ask them to bar him from participating because of targeted harassment and promoting violence. This is really important. Be polite. I mean it. Don't attack them. Don't swear. Don't get personal. Say what they did, why you think it's wrong, and ask that they not allow these creators to attend their conventions. That's it. Keep it simple. Keep it civil. Because this is unacceptable. I don't care who you are or who you think you are, you don't get to push people to harass, stalk, or assault people because of something they said. And you don't get to put your hands on them. I don't care who they are. Unless someone puts their hands on you or someone else, you don't get to touch them. I can't believe I actually have to explain this to adults in 2017, but here I am. You don't get to do that, and every time one of these pros, be it Slott or Waid or Claymore, do this stuff, report them to every single convention, business sponsor, and advertiser any of these pros work with, because these folks should know the type of people they're inviting into their space. The other thing is to keep criticizing these people. Keep making videos. Talk about their work, good or bad, doesn't matter. Keep bringing up sales, failed storylines, bad characters, and how these creators behave online. When they block you, talk about it. When they whine about that, talk about them whining about it. They're trying to silence you because people are listening, so don't stop talking. Don't let their threats scare you. And for any pros watching this, let me explain something to you. This is a business. Any good business listens to the market. When the market tells you something isn't working, you don't thumb your nose and keep making it. You change it. Coca-Cola learned this lesson with Coke too. They said it was better than the original Coke. People didn't like it. They asked for the original Coke back. You know what the company did? They said no. So people stopped buying Coke 2. Sales dropped. Within 3 months of the launch of Coke 2, Coca-Cola brought back the original Coke. They called it Coke Classic. Sales went through the roof. This wasn't because people were anti-diversity or hated new things. It's because people liked Coke the way it was and didn't want it changed. Had the company just released Coke 2 alongside the original, there wouldn't have been a problem. By taking away a product people loved and wanted to buy, it not only pissed off the consumers, but hurt the company's sales. This is the same thing happening with the progressive lean in comics. Taking away fan favorite characters makes people who like those characters stop buying comics. Replacing them with PC token characters only makes it worse. Hoisting those characters up as better than the originals is itching for a backlash. Letting creators accuse disenchanted fans of racism or sexism or homophobia just puts in the final nail. You don't win people over by name calling. You don't win them over by saying they're mad that the books aren't for them. All you're doing is proving them right. You did take away their favorite characters. You did play politics with the stories. You also don't win new fans by virtue signaling. These people don't buy your books. Proof is in the numbers. You can't give them away. If there's such an audience for Squirrel Girl, Wasp, Champions, or what have you, why aren't these the top-selling books? Why do the orders drop by 20 to 40% every month? Don't accuse your fans of being anti-diversity. Look at the work you put out and ask yourself honestly if it compares to the worst the 90s had to offer. You guys are producing fan fiction level stuff and you know it. You're letting politics drive your creativity instead of good storytelling, and it shows. So don't get mad when someone calls you out. Look at the criticism and ask, do they have a point? Could I have done this better? Because every last one of you has had words for George Lucas about the prequels. That's no different than what people are doing here. You're in a business. You need to act like it and start thinking about things from a business perspective. It costs you nothing to make the books with the original characters and make books with the new ones, so you should do both. Let the new characters have their own mantles and earn their status. We will go along with you if you do that. But if you keep up with the crappy stories, the stupid politics, and the temper tantrums, yeah, we gonna call your asses out.